This is your Kick-Ass Life podcast, episode number 207.
And here's your host, the girl who serves it up straight with a side of crazy, Andrea Owen.
Ass Kickers, how are you? Welcome to another episode of the Daily Diaries. And I'm glad you're back. Thanks for coming back. If this is your first time being here, it would probably be better if you started at episode 200. This is a month-long series that I'm doing, dedicating to telling you stories about really what happened during my book launch. My book, How to Stop Feeling Like Shit, came out January 2nd, and there was all the stuff that happened. I mean, I'm being dramatic. There were some things that happened preceding that, and then during the book launch of January, I went on tour, and I'm sharing those stories as well as some miscellaneous stories of my life to help you. Because I think we learn from our experiences and we can also learn from the experiences of others. And I think it's helpful to learn through story. So that's what I've been bringing you. Today isn't so much a story, but it's definitely a lesson. And hey, you know what? I would love to know what you think of these podcast episodes. Tell me what your favorite one has been so far. The best way to tell me that is to follow me on Instagram. That's where I love engaging with all of you. And over on Instagram, I am at the handle Your Kick-Ass Life. You can find me over there. I know so many of you are over there saying hi and commenting on my stuff. I love, love, love to be able to communicate with you guys over there. I'm also curious, are you listening to them every day when they come out? Or did you last week wait until Friday to listen to them all? Just curious, like how it's going. I mean, I don't listen to that many podcasts. I do listen to a fair amount of audiobooks. I listen to a couple of podcasts, and I'm kind of the podcast listener that kind of like whenever I have a chance, I listen to a podcast episode. But I know that for many of you, there is like this schedule that you have, because I know many of you commute to work. And so you listen to so-and-so's podcast on a certain day. And then during your workout, you listen to this podcast episode. I think that's amazing. But people have like this pattern of how they consume their podcasts. So today, what happened is I actually just got back from the doctors. I had not been to the doctor in like my regular general practitioner checkup. I hadn't been for a couple of years. And so my doctor is also the person who does like my pap smear and pelvic exam and all of that. So by the time this airs, it will have been a couple of weeks. But if you go to my Instagram account, you'll see, okay, so the paper gowns that they have, you guys know the paper gowns, right? And they come with a belt now, at least the ones that my doctor's office have. It's like this plastic belt that's really kind of great. I mean, you can make it into an actual dress. So I put it on and then took a picture of myself in the full-length mirror that they have. Why do they have a full-length mirror in the doctor's office? I do not know the reason for this. And then I realized like, oh, she had told me to have it open to the front, because I do a breast exam and all that. So I turned it around and then took a picture. And then it was like a wrap dress. It was kind of cute. It kind of like folded over the front. So I took pictures of that and put it on my Instagram. And also, more importantly, I realized that morning that I had not shaved my legs. Like it's been a couple of weeks. It's been so cold. I mean, I'm not wearing shorts or bathing suit or anything like that. And you know when you don't shave your legs and then it gets past the point of being prickly and then it's just soft again. So that's where I'm at. And so I realized that this morning. I'm like, I guess I'll shave my legs. But then I was like, you know what? Why? It's not like my OB cares at all. She's not going to be judging my leg hair or any other hair that I have going on that's not perfectly done up for her. And you know what else I didn't do is I didn't hide my bra and underwear. That's another thing that I think a lot of women do when we go to the doctor or the gynecologist. I know I used to do that. I used to like fold up my clothes very carefully and like tuck my underwear and my bra away. God forbid that my gynecologist sees my bra on the chair because she's going to have her face right in front of my vagina. And, but God forbid she sees my bra. Why do we do things like that? I don't know. I'm assuming I'm not the only person who did that. So I left my bra hanging over the chair. Anyway, so that happened. And that was interesting. That happened today. So I'm excited about today's episode because I hear a lot from my community the term, I wish I could get my shit together, or everyone else has their shit figured out except me, and things of that nature. And that's what prompted me to want to talk about this and write this particular post and record this particular episode. So the episode is titled, Which One of These Have You Shared? Because if you follow me online, obviously, and listen to this podcast, you probably also read a good amount of self-help books, like most of us. So maybe books like Wild by Cheryl Strayed, Love Warrior by Glennon Doyle Melton, Daring Greatly by Brené Brown, Big Magic, Elizabeth Gilbert, You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, who, by the way, has been a 2-time guest on this podcast. And I'm assuming over the last couple of years, you've read and recommended one or more of those books to a friend. And I have too. All of those books I have read and recommend wholeheartedly. All these female authors I hold in high regard. And all of these women I know have pain and struggle just like you and me. But maybe, just maybe, you think they don't have as much as you. Or maybe it's not a conscious thought that you have, that you really think that Glennon's life is so much better than yours. Maybe it is kind of just this overall feeling that you have that them or other women in your life, other people in your life have it better than you. Well, I'm here to tell you a couple of things. Number one, having your shit together is subjective. I did a whole Q&A podcast episode on this particular topic. Link is in the show notes. No one even knows really what that means. What does it mean to have your shit together? Society and you have made up a story about what that is. So check your expectations. I think it's really important, if you are someone who thinks that, what do you mean by that? What is your definition of having your shit together? I was listening to Oprah's Super Soul podcast. I totally forgot who her guest was. It was some dude talking about happiness. And he and Oprah were talking about defining what happiness is to you, because it could look different for people. People say like, I just want to be happier. I just want to get happy. And I was like, mind blown, like, oh my God, why have I never thought about that? And so I've been thinking about that a lot, about what that might look like for other people and what that exactly looks like for me. So maybe that's your exercise. What does happiness look like to you? And what does having your shit together look like? There was someone in my book club. I know a lot of you listening are actually in my book club, and I was reading through the comments. I read every single comment. And one of the women in there said, I wish I could just love my life. And that made me so curious. What is it about your life specifically that you don't love? What is it that you're actually going for? Because I think a lot of people, and I'm not saying it was this person, but I think some people have these expectations that every day should be great. I remember I was watching a Facebook Live with Elizabeth Gilbert and Martha Beck, and there was the comments of people asking questions, and someone in the comments said, can you tell us how to have big magic every day? And I don't think that Elizabeth Gilbert got to that question. Maybe she did. I'd have to go back and watch it again. But my answer to that is no. I think that would be absolutely and unequivocally exhausting. I think it's normal human experience to have good days and not so good days, to have big magical days and days where your creativity is just in the toilet. Having days where you're happy and you can really lean into the joy, and then having days where you are on autopilot because you have so many things to do that you just can't possibly be present in your day. It's just not humanly possible. So that's what I mean by check your expectations. When you say general things like that, having your shit together, or I want to be happier, or I want to just love my life, what does that actually mean? Be specific, break it down. And the second thing that I'm here to tell you is that life is a path that we're all traveling on. It's long and winding with ruts and obstacles along the way. As we move along it, we gain more insight and wisdom. And in my humble opinion, the more ruts and obstacles we run into, the more we get the emotional shit kicked out of us, the more insight and wisdom we gather. because we're all on this same path. The people who don't give a shit about personal development and think you're weird for being involved in it and loving it and reading all the books, they typically don't make it past the first couple of steps on that path. That's okay. That's their thing in this lifetime, and it's not your job to force them farther along the path. Have you ever tried to prescribe personal development to someone who's really not into it? It usually doesn't go very well, does it? All those authors and personal development leaders that I mentioned are on your same path. They might just be farther along on it than you are. Some people move up quickly, like in Monopoly, when you get that card, the chance card that tells you to jump ahead to one of the next railroads and collect $200. Some people, that's what it looks like for them. And sometimes we take a few steps back. At the end of the day, you don't need to catch up. It's not a race. You just need to do the work. All right? All right. Also, on Friday, February 16th, I invite you to join me for Raise Hell. That's when early bird registration opens, which is a 4-month online program that encompasses foundational tools to get your shit together, whatever that means. Yeah. And action and accountability. It's about declaring the woman you want to be and how to get there. It's not easy to do this all alone. I'll be there to guide you, plus an extraordinary group of women who are all on the same path, rooting for you. I believe, now that I've been doing this for 11 years, that lasting change happens over time. That's why I've created this to be 4 months long, and I hope to see you there. We open doors on Friday. So until next time, ass kickers, I will see you out in cyberspace. Bye-bye.